You are either becoming someone people underestimate or someone people quietly start to fear. There is no neutral option. Every conversation you survive, every reaction you hold back, every silence you choose instead of an explanation is training your mind toward one of the two. And the terrifying part is, almost nobody realizes which one is happening to them until it's already too late to go back. In this video, we are going to talk about 7 traits that build a mind so strong, so controlled, and so quietly unreadable that it starts to intimidate the people around you. Not because you're trying to, not because you're cold or arrogant or performing power, but because a mind like this is rare, and rare things make people uneasy. Most people think intimidation comes from being loud, from dominating a room, from aggression, status, or confidence you can spot from across the street. That is not what actually unsettles people. What actually unsettles people is a mind they cannot predict, cannot rattle, and cannot fully read. And here's the uncomfortable part. You have probably already felt pieces of this in yourself. Moments where you stayed calm while everyone else panicked. Moments where you said nothing, and somehow that silence said more than words ever could. Moments where people apologized to you first, even when you hadn't reacted at all. That was not luck. That was the early architecture of a mind that scares people simply by existing differently. And it doesn't feel unusual to you. It feels normal. You've probably spent years thinking you were just quiet, or just careful, or just overthinking things. This video is probably about you. Let's talk about the traits that build a mind this strong. Trait 1. You stop explaining yourself to people who never wanted the truth in the first place. Most people think confidence means talking more, defending yourself louder, proving your point until the other person finally agrees. That is exactly backwards. Real psychological strength shows up as an absence, not an addition. When someone questions your decisions out of jealousy or out of a need to control you, a weak mind explains. A strong mind simply continues. Psychologists call this selective disclosure, the ability to filter who has actually earned your reasoning and who is just fishing for a reaction. Every time you defend yourself to someone who is never going to accept the answer anyway, you hand them power over your peace. But when you stop, people lose their grip on you completely. They no longer know how to provoke a response, and a mind that cannot be provoked is one of the most unsettling things a person can encounter. Trait 2. You respond to chaos with stillness, and stillness is the one thing panic cannot survive next to. Most people believe strength looks like speed, fast reactions, fast decisions, fast emotions. Under real pressure, it's the opposite that actually scares people. When something goes wrong, when an argument starts, when bad news lands, most people's nervous systems fire instantly. Heart rate spikes, thoughts race, words come out before they're ready. A sharp mind trains itself to do the opposite. It creates a gap between the trigger and the response. Neuroscience shows this gap is where the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, gets the chance to catch up with the emotional part. People without that gap react. People with that gap respond. And when you're the only calm person in a room full of panic, something strange happens to everyone watching. They start to wonder what you know that they don't. Now, if you've made it this far and you're already recognizing yourself in one of these traits, drop the number in the comments. I read every single one, and I want to know which trait hit first. Trait 3. You let people misunderstand you, and you don't lift a finger to fix it. This is one of the hardest shifts a mind can make, and one of the most powerful. Most people spend enormous energy managing how others perceive them, correcting misunderstandings, softening opinions, adjusting their entire personality depending on who's in the room. That energy has a cost. It keeps your sense of self tied to external validation, which means your identity becomes as unstable as other people's opinions of you. A mind that has grown past this stops performing. It allows silence to be mistaken for coldness, focus to be mistaken for arrogance, boundaries to be mistaken for distance, and it does not chase the correction. This isn't detachment from people. It's detachment from the need to be constantly interpreted correctly by everyone in the room. Trait 4. You process pain in private, long before anyone gets to see it. Most people process emotions out loud, in real time, with whoever happens to be nearby. That's not weakness, but it does make your inner world visible and, at times, dangerously easy to unsettle. A mind built for quiet strength does something different. It gives itself space before it gives anyone else access. This isn't suppression. Suppression is pretending the pain isn't there. This is regulation, feeling it fully, sitting with it, understanding it, before deciding whether, when, and to whom it gets expressed. Psychologists call this emotional containment, and it is strongly linked to higher emotional intelligence, not lower. People who do this are often mistaken for being unaffected by anything, which only adds to how unreadable they seem. In reality, they feel everything. They just no longer feel obligated to broadcast it the second it happens. Trait 5. You give your full attention to almost nothing, and that absence is exactly what makes people notice you. In a world addicted to constant stimulation, attention has quietly become one of the rarest resources a mind can protect. Most people's focus is fragmented, split between conversations, notifications, half-finished thoughts, and background noise. A mind trained for sharpness does the opposite. It narrows. It commits to one task, one conversation, one decision at a time, and gives it full presence instead of partial attention. This looks small from the outside, but the effect is significant. When you speak to someone with complete, undistracted focus, they feel it immediately, and it often unsettles people who are used to being half-listened to their entire lives. Deep, undivided attention reads as intensity. And intensity, especially the calm and quiet kind, is one of the most intimidating qualities a person can carry. Trait 6. You stop needing to win the conversation to know you were right. This one surprises people every time. Most assume a sharp, intimidating mind argues well, corrects people quickly, and needs the last word. That's usually insecurity wearing the mask of intelligence. Real psychological strength doesn't need external proof that it's right. It already settled that internally, a long time ago. So when someone challenges you, disagrees loudly, or tries to bait you into a debate that has no real purpose, a strong mind can simply let it go. Not because it lacks the answer, but because it no longer needs the argument to validate what it already knows. Silence in the face of a challenge doesn't read as defeat. It reads as detachment from a game the other person is still playing alone. And there is almost nothing more unsettling to someone trying to provoke you than watching you calmly decline to participate. Trait 7. You build your standards from your own evidence, not from anyone else's opinion of you. This is the trait that ties every other one together. Most people's self-worth is constructed externally, based on approval, comparison, and the shifting moods of whoever is around them that day. A mind this strong builds its foundation differently. It tracks its own patterns. Did I keep the promises I made to myself today? Did I respond the way I wanted to, not just the way I felt forced to? Did I protect my peace without needing anyone's permission? Psychologists describe this as an internal locus of control, the belief that your outcomes and self-worth are shaped primarily by your own actions, not by outside validation. People with this trait become very difficult to shake because there is no external opinion powerful enough to override the internal evidence they've already collected about who they are. This is not coldness. This is not arrogance. This is not detachment from the people who actually matter to you. What we've just described is a mind that has stopped outsourcing its peace, its identity, and its reactions to everyone around it. And the moment you stop doing that, something shifts permanently in how people experience you. You stop seeing yourself as too quiet, too sensitive, too much in your head. You start seeing yourself as someone operating on a different frequency than the noise around you. People will call it intimidating. What they're actually responding to is unpredictability. In a world absolutely full of people who are easy to read, easy to provoke, and easy to control. A mind like this isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. It just quietly stops giving away the things most people give away for free. Their explanations, their urgency, their approval seeking, their reactions, their attention, their need to win, and their sense of self. So ask yourself honestly, right now, how many of these 7 traits have you already been building without even realizing it? And what would change in your life the moment you stopped apologizing for the ones you already have? If this gave you a new way of understanding your own mind, subscribe to Psych MindInk, because this is exactly the kind of content we make here, for the quiet ones who think differently and are only just beginning to realize how rare that actually is.